Hey Bronze Brigade, it's Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and in this video I'm going to be doing something that I have not done in a very long time. I'm going to unbox some CGC comic books. Fragile. Sounds Italian. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing some CGC unboxing here, and I actually have two shipments that have come in. This is the one that came in today, and you're going to see one that came in a couple weeks ago here in a minute. So for a few different reasons, I haven't been doing CGC submissions, and I haven't done one in 2.5 years. So that's quite a while for me because I was doing them pretty regularly before that for a few years. But I decided that I wasn't really satisfied with what was going on at CGC, and I had some concerns about the market and a few other things, and so I just decided to stop doing that. Fast forward to a little while ago, I was contacted by the Palm Beach presser. As his name implies, he's a presser based out of Florida, and he asked me if I was interested in maybe doing a few promo comic book press and cleans from him. And so he offered to basically pay for 3 comic book press and cleans. And then I said, hey, you know what I'd like to do is probably do a CGC submission, probably like, 10 to 12 books. And if you're willing to do 3 of those for free, that's awesome. He agreed to that. And so what happened is he covered the pressing costs on 3 of these comic books, and the rest I paid for all out of my own money. And I paid for the CGC fees and all that kind of stuff. We'll do a complete pricing breakdown and value breakdown of the comic books at the end of the video after the unboxing. All right, so I'm itching to unbox these comic books, and I'm pretty sure you folks are too. What I have here is 2 vintage tier comic books. The rest of the stuff that you will see me unboxing later, which I actually already did unbox and know the grades on, because they came 2 weeks ago, are modern tier. Definitely not the box that I'm used to seeing from CGC. I'm used to like a little flatter box they send out. So what I'll do, like I said earlier, is I'll do a value breakdown and what I paid for CGC fees, what Palm Beach presser charged me for these books, and also I'll even tell you what I paid for the books, because why not? All right, I'm trying really hard not to see what's inside here. This is their new, I'll show you guys. This is their new like weird bubble wrap. I didn't get that in the last submission. Making it really hard to do a blind unboxing here. I'm trying hard not to look. So these were very low grade comic books, and they had a lot of damage, which is part of the reason that I wanted to submit these two. I'll start with this one, which you'll recognize right away as the first appearance of the Sentinels. I picked this up last year at Washington State SummerCon. Let's try to make sure I get as much glare off there as possible for you. I'm going to guess that this was about a 2.0, I think is kind of what I had it down as. 2.5. All right. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. First appearance of the Sentinels, X-Men 14. Off-white to white pages, which is about what I expected. Couple scuffs on the back of the slab, but nothing too crazy. Can I get the light to shine on it? Nah, I can't even get it to shine on you, but there's a couple scuffs on there. But yeah, this is about what I expected on this book. That's not too surprising, and that's fun. Okay, this one's a little bit more of a fun book, and it was in terrible condition. I have no idea what to expect on the grade on this book. I'm going to guess like a 1.0 maybe. This is Iron Man 55. First appearance of Thanos. First appearance of Drax. Whole bunch of first appearances in there actually. And a 1.5. All right, that's not so bad. This has a lot of damage. It's some kind of brittle pages. You can see like, chunk missing right there. A little rust on the staple right there and right there. So, definitely a rough book that I think was made better by Palm Beach presser, but some stuff that just is not going to come out. And I knew it was low grade. He asked for a challenge, and this was like, I was like, oh, I've got a challenge for you. But that's still a nice book, even in that grade. Nice entry level book for somebody. So that's really awesome. All right, so cool. I'm actually pretty pleased with the results on those 2 comic books. Now I have the 10 modern comic books in an unboxing that I filmed a couple weeks ago, like I said earlier. And so now I'm going to cut to that, and you can see Bronze without a haircut talking about what comic books he got that day. All right, so now for the unboxing, and this is for the 10 modern comic books. There'll be 2 comic books coming in a vintage shipment. At the time of recording, those are still scheduled for grading at CGC, so I have to open these to check for mechanical errors, and so I might be wearing a different shirt than I do in the rest of the video and that kind of stuff. So let's get this open, and then we'll do the unboxing. I have not seen the grades for these, so it'll be a reveal for me as well, and I'll tell you what my predictions were for each of them. All right, so, I'll pull up hopefully I'm covering the right side here. Okay, so this is, yeah, ASM 194. My grade prediction on this, I was hoping for an 8.0 or better. Try to get the glare out there as much as possible. Palm Beach presser thought his grade prediction was a 6.5 to 7.5. So let's see what we got. 6.0. Dang, that is definitely lower than I was hoping for. on this one. Oh well, still cool. I still love having this book slabbed. But yeah, that's definitely a little lower than I was hoping for. All right, so that one's not what I was hoping for exactly, but hey, what are you gonna do? All right, what book do we have here? Oh, Star Wars #1. So this one, I think I'm probably gonna be low on this one. Let's see, I had this at like an 8 to 8.5. Palm Beach Presser said 7.580. So, you know, higher is better on this one, hopefully. But we'll see. 7.0. Yeah, okay. Definitely lower than I was hoping for, but hey, again, still cool. All right, what do we got next here? Oh, that's a big one. And you know what? I'm actually going to save that one for last because I'm so curious what that one is. You may have just seen the grade there. I don't know, but I'm gonna save that one for last. That's the biggest book for me from this submission. So, let's see here. Oh, this is a pretty big one though. Planet Comics #1. Let's see. Palm Beach Presser thought it was a 9.2. I thought it was about a 9.2. You know, maybe I'd hope for a 9.4. 9.0. Okay, 9.0 on that one. I'd hope that like some of these defects were pressable, but it definitely had quite a few minor defects. The biggest thing I think that was unfixable was there was some staining on the back. Glad to have it slabbed. And, you know, 9.0 and today's value on this book is still very good. Ooh, Sandman 1. So I actually picked this up not that long ago. And yeah, this one I was hoping it might be a 9.8. We'll see what it is. 8.0. Wow. Did not expect that. This one blows me away. Palm Beach Presser said 9.6 plus. What did they see here? I'll have to look at graders' notes and see, you know, if they provided any, but that one's shocking to me. I thought it, I mean, at least 9.4 plus. Okay. All right, what do we got here? We got Spider-Man Noir. This one I was hoping for a 9.8. Palm Beach Presser on this one said 9.8 likely, and we have a 9.6. Okay. Man, I think I got a harsh grader. Yeah, I don't generally see what would have knocked that one down, but oh well, 9.6. All right, so yeah, ASM 361, first appearance of Carnage. This one I thought was 9.8 likely. 9.6 on this one. Let's see. He thought 9.8 likely on this one as well. Wow. Again, I'm surprised. This is super clean from everything I'm seeing. Just not my day, huh? All right, what do we got? Avengers Annual 10. This one this could be anywhere from 7 up, I think. 8.0 is what a Palm Beach Presser thought. I'm really curious. I know this is not a perfect book, so it's kind of one of those ones that's tough. 8.0, yeah. So that doesn't surprise me too much. All right. Next up, so this one, I thought originally this was a better looking copy than it probably is. I thought that at one point I thought this might be like a 9.8, you know, it's the Galactus Blue Air version or whatever. Let's see, he thought it was a 8.5, and I think he's probably closer to right, maybe a 9.0 or something like that in between. We'll see. 9.2, okay. So 9.2 newsstand. Yeah, I have a direct that's in better shape, and I think in my head I kind of mixed up which copies those were when I pulled this out. But I was like, still, it's a good book to have, and I've got several copies of it, so why not have one slab? Next to last book, Omega Men 3. I thought this was a potential 9.8. He says 9.6, 9.8, and we got a 9.8. Okay, so first Lobo and a 9.8. That's a nice one. That's a, you know, helps helps with some of the problems I've seen in the other ones. All right, so this one is the big one by far for me. Pulled this out of a collection. Didn't know it was in the collection when I bought it, and it kind of made my day when I saw it in there. I really want a 9.8. With the luck I've had in this submission, I don't know that'll happen. Let's see. Palm Beach Presser said this was, he thought 9.8 likely. Let's see. Yes! All right. All right. That makes up for a lot of the other problems in the submission for sure. At least partially. Yeah. But what's funny is I see more on this book than like the ASM 361 that would to me maybe keep it at a 9.8. You know, not every factor is considered when you're looking at the book through the slab, of course, but I'm super happy. I love Ahsoka. No, not for sale. This is, you know, PC copy. Happy to have it. Makes it even sweeter that's a 9.8. I would have been fine if it was lower because it's staying in the PC, but hey, if you can have a 9.8, why not? So that's those books. Either before this or right after this, you'll see the 2 vintage tier books and then the rest of the video. All right, cool. So now you saw the results for my modern. The modern submissions were more disappointing. Honestly, like after talking to Palm Beach Presser about this a little bit, having some time to reflect on it, you know, some of the things that I started kind of like pixel peeping and looking at some of the defects and taking some close-up photos, I actually kind of understand those grades a little bit better. So I sounded really disappointed, and I was disappointed, but I probably had some rose-tinted glasses. For one thing, I think in the few years since I've done a CGC submission, the grading criteria has gotten a little bit more strict. Now, I would prefer consistent grading criteria, but I do have to admit that being strict graders is not a problem with me in general. So maybe I got better grades on some books and that kind of adjusted my expectations for what grades I would get for these books. But hey, honestly, I want the right grades, so that's fine. Plus, it was a good reminder for me to actually like look at the comic books before I speak to them, because, you know, a couple of them, especially like that Sandman, I started looking at them like, yeah, okay, I thought this was in really great shape, but if I'd really kind of taken the time to closely look at it, I would have caught some of those mistakes. But let's talk values and also costs that it cost me to submit this stuff. I am a CGC Premium member. I joined CGC Premium right before I did my submissions, so because I plan on doing a few more. So it made sense to me. You get the $150 credit. All in, all grading submission fees for this, it would have been $352. And that includes shipping, which for me, using FedEx Ground, was about $45. And $10 of the remainder there was the handling fees, one for the vintage submission and one for the modern submission. So if you only did one submission, it would just be $5 instead of the 10 that I did. If you have books from multiple eras, those are going to be their own submissions. Keep that in mind. So the easiest way for me to break up the value of the CGC costs is to say that for each vintage book, for both of them, it was $48.50. And for each modern tier book, it was $25.50. Both of those figures include shipping. So for each book, ship back to me. So I'll probably flash the math up on the screen as I'm going through these, but I didn't want to have to like keep referring to that. So you understood where that number comes from when you see the CGC fees. So when it comes to the Palm Beach Presser side of fees, I did get 3 of these books submitted for free. So I got credits back from my bill. What I'll do is I'll give you the price that I would have paid if I paid full price. And then just keep in mind the most expensive books basically I got done for free. So for Iron Man 55, which again is a mega key. So first Thanos, first Drax, first Star Fox, first Mentor, first Kronos, you know, a bunch of first appearances in that book. 1972 book, so definitely a vintage tier. I had it at a 1.0 as is, possibly even a 0.5. It got a 1.5 back, which is pretty cool. Now I'm just pulling, I updated my CLZ to pull the cover price values for these. So this is just the cover price value essentially. Right now, cover price says that a graded copy of this is worth $295, and I paid $135 for this comic book back in October of 2021. And there's, you know, even a small story behind that. I pulled this from an LCS where they had just got a collection in and said he had an Iron Man 55, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Even though it's really beat up, I'm interested, and we priced it out. And I think I talked him down from like $150. That's why I ended up paying for it. So that's what I got for it. Not necessarily an amazing deal today, but a pretty good deal at the time, I feel like. So. All right, and hopefully I'm flashing up the final value or potential profit if I just turn around and sold this book for what cover prices it's worth, basically. Okay, next up we have Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #1. This is the Galactus Air variant. It's a newsstand. Whatever on both of those things. I don't really care about those that much, but that's what it is. It's part of the reason that I thought it was in high grade, so I wanted to submit it. So the value on this one is $325. Palm Beach Presser charged me $13. He had it graded out, estimated at a 8.5. By the way, for the Iron Man, he thought 1.8, 2.0 for the Iron Man, so pretty good there. For the superheroes, he thought it was 8.5. I had it at like I think a 9.4 or something, and ended up getting a 9.2. So that's $325. I paid $10 for this comic book back in October of 2021. I actually got it the same time I got that Iron Man 55. So yeah, that's pretty fun. All right, next up we have Star Wars #1 from the original Marvel Comics run in 1977. Let's see, Palm Beach Presser had this at a 7.5 or 8.0. I thought it was a little bit higher, and we ended up getting the 8.0 grade on it. He charged $18 for the pressing on this one, and I paid $200 for this back in September of 2021. Again, I thought it was a little bit higher grade. Right now, it's only worth $210. A lot of this, like this book, me thinking it was a higher grade than it was, or, you know, at least hoping it would grade out at a higher grade than it did. And also the value of this comic book dropping in the last couple of years really skews that number. But you know, if you just think about the value of it now versus what I paid for it, it's not that bad. You add in all the pressing and cleaning and submission fees, not exactly worth it. This is also a personal copy for me that I plan to have around unless I find a better copy. This will be my personal copy of Star Wars #1. So I'm not looking to sell this anyway, and so I'm pretty okay with the value on that. All right, ASM 194 is another one that was a little disappointing to me as far as the grade I got back on it with the 6.0 there. I did pay $170 for that back in October of 2021. That's actually really surprising that that happened in the same month, to be honest. And then the value on that one is currently listed at $194. It was $18 for the clean and press on this one, and he thought it would be a 6.5 to a 7.5. All in all, not terrible. Again, this is my personal copy. I'm a big Black Cat fan, so I wanted to have a first appearance of Black Cat, and so that's totally fine for me. I did hope for a better grade, so that definitely is a factor. Next, we're going to look at a hot book right now, which is Spider-Man Noir #1, the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir. Nicolas Cage is now playing Spider-Man Noir in live action after doing the voice roles in the Spider-Verse movies. And for this comic book, I did hope for a 9.8. Something to keep in mind here. Now, this comic book I bought as part of a collection. I didn't know it was in the collection when I bought it because I did not flip through every single issue in that collection. The bulk price is probably less than 10 cents for what I paid for this comic book. Again, since I didn't know it was in there, I'm not going to like give it some inflated value. I'm just going to assign it essentially what I think I paid for roughly the whole collection times however many comics were in it. Even that's kind of a guesstimate. It might have actually been a little bit less. But yeah, for 10 cents, this comic book is currently worth $262 in a 9.6, which again, I hoped it was a 9.8. And I think if I resubmitted it, it might even get a 9.8, which is too bad. You know, I have to do that if I want to. But I did get it for pressed and clean for $13, and 9.8 likely was what Palm Beach Presser thought, which is what I thought too. So, you know, there we go. Okay, let's get to that X-Men 14 you just saw me unbox. That would have been $35 to have that pressed and clean with Palm Beach Presser. I paid, I want to say $170 for that at a convention. I paid $190 for that back in May of last year, in 2023. So, I'll pay $190 is a pretty hefty price tag on that one. It is currently valued at $279 in a 2.5. It was kind of like this thing where I just wanted to buy a big key at that show, and this was the best candidate I saw for what I really wanted. And so I pulled the trigger. I was actually looking for a first appearance of Juggernaut, but I was willing to take this book home. So yeah, not terrible. Again, this is my personal collection book unless I ever find a better copy of it. So again, I don't really care that it's that low of a grade. But you know, that kind of a key early in the X-Men run, I did want to have it graded. Okay, another big book right now is Planet Comics #1. This is the Dave Stevens cover that's, you know, often homaged. I got a 9.0 on this, which right now cover price has at $448. That's the current value on this comic book according to cover price. I paid, I believe... Oh, this one's weird because I actually did a weird deal on this one that kind of included a little bit of like a trade value almost. I actually don't know what to put as the fair value I paid on this. Let's say approximately $50 to $100. It's kind of hard for me to say. It was part of a trade offer kind of a thing from a viewer. And yeah, it got a little hinky as far as what I can put the dollar value on it for. The pressing and cleaning fees on this one were $18. He thought it'd be a 9.2. I kind of hoped it would be about a 9.4, I think is what I predicted on that one. So, you know, hoping for a little bit better grade. We got the 9.0, which there is some staining on the back. It kind of makes sense. But yeah, you can kind of see the value I put on that book right now. It still made out pretty well on it. Avengers Annual 10. This is a bit of a fun one because this is a replacement copy for the copy that I put up in the Heroes for Heroes auction. And then I had a lot of 10 of those that we did like buy it now claims on most of them. And I bought one of the buy it nows. You know, I think everybody had a fair shot at those in that auction that was taking place at the time. And so I then immediately put one of my graded copies back into the auction. So this is now my personal copy of Avengers Annual 10. I do have a 9.4 of this in my personal collection already, and that copy I've had for years. So this one I bought for $50 on November 25th, 2023 as part of Heroes for Heroes. Special shout out to You're Next over on Instagram because all those copies, you know, all that money went to Mission 22. So that's really awesome. This copy is worth $90 according to cover price. The clean and press fees on this were $13. This was one that Palm Beach Presser was right on 8.0, and that's what it got. So there you go. I thought it was a little bit higher, but hey, that was like an 8.5. Awesome. Next, we go from Rogue to Lobo. First appearance of Lobo. I bought this at Rose City Comic Con on February 3rd, 2022 for $70. And it is currently worth $285 in a 9.8, which is the grade I got on it. And I was charged $13 for the clean and press. Palm Beach Presser thought this was a 9.6 or a 9.8. Sandman #1. Definitely one of the more disappointing books. I paid $50 for this on an IG claim sale, but I also got like 5 or 6 other issues of Sandman, I believe, with it. It was a really good deal, even at that price, even with me expecting a better grade on it. It did get an 8.0, which is worth $155. Palm Beach Presser charged $13 for the clean and press. He thought it was like a 9.6. I thought it was like a 9.8. We were both way off, especially when we looked at it more, and we both admitted that that was the case too. So there you go on that one. 2 books left. ASM 361. Now in this book, I hoped for a 9.8. He said 9.8 likely on this one. We got a 9.6. Currently, that's worth $156. I paid $100 for this back on July of 2023. And yeah, so the clean and press costs on this were $13. A little disappointing. If there was 2 books from this submission that I would resubmit, it would be the Spider-Man Noir and the ASM 361. I think both of those would probably get a 9.8. If they were part of like a pre-screen submission, I could see that being more likely. Just the way it works. Okay, let's get to the big book that people are probably waiting to see the prices on and everything. Let me go to my list here. This is also from the comic book collection that I picked up. So also I picked this up for my value that I've put on every single comic book I bought from that collection. I put the value at 10 cents. I think that's fairly fair to what I paid for that many comics. 10 cents for this one. It is worth $1,021 and a 9.8. It is Clone Wars #1, first appearance of Ahsoka in comic books. And I paid $18 because he thinks the comic book is worth more than $1,000 and a 9.8, he charges the $18 tier on this. And actually, I think the prices have gone up since I did this. So these were like one of the last submissions on the old pricing. So I'll try to post the new pricing here for you guys because I keep telling you the pricing that I paid, but the prices have gone up. So with Palm Beach Presser, that. By the way, let's just take a second to say that's awesome. That's a huge win on the Clone Wars. I'm super excited about that. It's another comic I had no idea was in that collection when I bought it. I never saw it in the collection until I took most of the comic books back to my storage unit. I had a few short boxes set aside of stuff that I wanted to kind of go through, set up for the auction, kind of have ready to go, make sure I rebagged and boarded, all that kind of stuff. And I decided, I was so excited from buying this collection, I decided to okay, I'm going to go through one more time and kind of see what I can pull. And I got through a couple boxes that I didn't look through the first time. And that's where I found the Spider-Man Noir. That's where I found the Clone Wars #1. The guy I bought it from knows I got those comic books out of the collection. I've talked to him about it since then. We're friends. And he's cool with it, especially since he knows I'm not planning on selling either of those books. So, yeah, it was still a cool deal and a really awesome grade to come out on that one. Like I said, Palm Beach Presser is charging a little bit more now. The way it works out is there's a $6 order handling fee per shipment. He charged $12 to ship to CGC. He includes $100 insurance with that. And then he gave me the discount on the 3 books. And then he did a little bit of a discount on one of the books too, because it was the high value tier, I believe. So yeah, I got a really good deal from him. The thing with CGC, again, I use my premium value. All the prices you saw are reflecting the full value that I would have paid if I didn't have the premium $150 credit. But I am on the premium discount, so I do get a discount from CGC. You can submit for free. You're just going to pay a little bit more per submission, per comic book. So that's something to keep in mind. So for the end of this video, I definitely want to make sure to give a review of Palm Beach Presser. And here's my review of Palm Beach Presser. I think he did a pretty great job. There's some complications on this order. Like, I'll fully admit, and he admits that he probably could have caught more, like on the Sandman one, for example, to like be more realistic in the expectation of the grade. Then again, his grade estimates are just grade estimates. So I can't like hold him accountable for that, but it might have we might have held off on submitting that one or 1 or 2 of the other books. But he admitted to, hey, I probably should have caught a couple more things here. This is kind of a learning experience for me, is what he said. That's awesome. That's actually what I want to see from people. Like I've said a million times on this channel, I expect people to make mistakes. I just want to see how they try to correct those mistakes. And so this is the way he corrected it. He offered to, if I wanted to resubmit any of these books, the ones that we talked about that were problems back and forth, he said, hey, like, send them to me for a clean and press before they go back to CGC, and I'll take another look at them and see what I can do. And that's cool, right? Like, that's basically what I'd expect in this situation. There's not really much else he can do. CGC is iffy at the best of times. You know, there's a lot of quality control issues and mechanical errors and handling issues we see. I do suspect some of these books may have been handled roughly. He thought the same thing. Some stuff might have kind of popped out that he'd kind of pressed because they were handled a little roughly or twisted. And I actually do believe that might have happened during this process based on what we're seeing in a couple of the books. But then again, I think that on the whole, this is probably what I should have expected if I was really looking at these the way I did made my first CGC submission, and I was using that kind of detail. I probably would have caught more of this stuff. And yeah, I think that's a lot of that's on me. A lot of that's on CGC. And I think some of it's on Palm Beach Presser, but I think he did a great job. I really think that he actually did everything he should have done in this situation. And so I recommend him. I think you should use him. You know, I'll be using them again at some point in the future. And I do still want to try out other cleaners and pressers. There's a couple other guys out there that I want to try out that I think their reputation is pretty interesting and I want to see what they can do. But I still will use Palm Beach Presser in the future. For me, that's probably about the most glowing recommendation you can get. I'm not sitting here saying like, and I'm done with Palm Beach Presser. No, I'm still going to continue to use them. So the last people I want to thank are you, the channel members of this channel, whose names are going to be scrolling by on the screen right now. Thank you for your support. You know, this is a video that's been in the works for a while. Obviously, it's taken some production on the back end to make it happen, and we are going to get you know, more videos out soon. So I do appreciate all those memberships. That does support me. I do want to point out there is merch available. You can get a Bronze Age Nerd t-shirt, sticker. You can get stickers. I got some stickers right here. I can show you. Booty cover of the week, Bronze Age Nerd. I'll be honest, these stickers are a little thinner than I'd hoped for, but you know, getting print to order stuff where I can have it directly tie into my YouTube page. The shirt quality feels good. I've had a couple people order it and they say the sizing feels good to them and everything. I think if you're a little bit of a bigger person, you know, be prepared for the fact that they're probably not going to be the best sizing. If you are, you know, past 2XL or something like that, they do offer sizes up to 5XL. But they don't offer tall sizes, which does kind of, you know, bum me out. I think they only offer up to like 1 or 2XL or something like that. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool merch. And, you know, I was able to design the logos on everything. Like, if you guys didn't know, this logo is designed by me originally, and I had comic book cover artist Michael McComb, aka Pool Boy, kind of do the print ready kind of wash on it and, you know, tighten everything up. And I think he did a really great job. So if you want a Bronze Age Nerd logo, you can go order a t-shirt, a hat, a mug, stickers. I think that's pretty cool with the flexibility that's available in the store, and you can do that directly from YouTube here, and that does support me. So that's another way you can support me if you want to. All right, now the last thing I'm going to point out is that some of these comic books will be for sale, so stay tuned to see sales coming up, that kind of thing. I will probably have some of these comics available for sale because the goal was to sell about half of these to recoup the cost from the other half that I'm keeping for myself. So if you're interested in any of them, just let me know. And we'll catch you in the next video. Until then, I want to thank you as always and remind you, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.